Welcome to my vlog.
Alright, hello mga kami. So for today's vlog is we go around somewhere here in Livorno, no?
Yeah.
Let's see what's we gonna do for today. We have 5 people. So let's see. Our driver is Francesco.
The greatest.
The greatest. Love of all. Alright, so likod si Chip tsaka si Pikey. Hello mga kami, so nandito na pala tayo sa ano, no, mismong Leaning Tower ng Pisa. So ito, ang ganda. Daming tao ngayon mga kamis. Grabe, ang daming tao. Right, so napakaraming tao ngayon dito, no. Punong-puno yung ngayon ano. So, tingnan natin doon sa unahan. Punta tayo sa malapit. Tara, dito ta.
Oh, ala tara.
Ta.
Oh, kita ulit ala bitaw ta. Kita diri. Giana mo.
Dito siguro lagi ano? Dito. Oh. Dari oh. Wala day, na dito. Murag na dito. Ha?
Tikang ra ba? Oh, un par de ciudades.
Pwede ra siguro matikang. Tikang rami mga kamis ha. This one is the Pisa Baptistery of St. John. It is the Roman Catholic ecclesiastical building in Pisa, Italy. Sa tower. Punta tayo. Pisa is a city in Italy's Tuscany region based known of its iconic Leaning Tower, already tilting when it was completed in 1372. The 56-meter white marble cylinder is the bell tower of the Romantic striped marble cathedral that rises next to the Piazza di Miracoli. Also in the piazza is the baptistry, whose renowned acoustics are demonstrated by the amateur singers daily and Caposanto Monumental Cemetery. Saan tayo banda? Diyan na. This one is Pisa Cathedral. It is one of the most impressive churches in Tuscany, Italy. A masterpiece of Pisan Romantic architecture, chiefly famous for its bell tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Daming tao, no?
May bili naman siya, no? Magkano siguro mo dyan?
7,000 may git. Malapit na mag-8. Dalawa to eh. Pati yung sa partner ko.
Ayan na. Isa partner mo isa?
Oo, puti yung sa kanya. Puti na may pula. May black din.
Hindi ka sumit na siya, no?
Wala daw. Nagtanong ako. Wala daw sila ano. The Leaning Tower of Pisa is one of the 7 wonders of the world. Despite being a reproduction of the medieval age, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was declared as one of the 7 wonders of the world for its exceptional Romanesque architecture, its sheer size, and because it miraculously leans while it's holding still. The tower has 296 or 294 steps. The 7th floor has 2 fewer steps. On the north-facing staircase, the tower began to lean during construction in the 12th century due to soft ground which could not properly support the structure's weight. Climbing to the top of the Leaning Tower of Pisa is a unique experience, and it offers a very beautiful view of the town. The base ticket price is €18 if you bought on site.
Yaman, batsi na ta? Sabi ni Duta, no?
Duta na yung magagawa, bre.
Cuy kaya eh. Sama tuh. Empowered na, bro.
Solo ato, pre?
Solo?
Oh, solo ba? Solito ba?
Tanaw na to. Na, ah.
Ada.
Nah. Lah nito ito.
Kana yo.
Nindot kay kagirad. Niadto mo ka sa layo god.
Mo kan nindot kayo.
Pero pwede man nimo, pwede man naton i-crop. Ipadool. Ipadool na to gamay.
Ayo.
Ah. Para mo dako-dako.
Ah, kaya tangan na, pre.
Ah.
Sige, kanay magod. Kana ay kumpige na, pre.
Kanang gatumba no.
Mo ba na Leaning Tower of Pisa? Sige.
Taghanag manganhi no.
Kamera din okay ba?
Tinaw kay no.
Kaya to mayari kung pandemic na akong ate dili mingawa lagi no. Kamera tawa to.
Kamora.
Kuna tulo. Pero daghan kay normal na. Normal
Lagi no. Tay wagi ko ka-expect kinani kadaghan. No? Puno ka ay
normal yun, pre. Normal na
volume.
Pisa is where the birthplace of the famous Italian Galileo Galilei. Galileo was born in Pisa, Tuscany on February 15, 1564. The oldest son of Vincenzo Galilei, a musician who made important contributions to the theory and practice of music and who may have performed some experiments with Galileo in 1588 to 1589 on the relationship between pitch and the tension of strings. You can find the Galileo Galilei statue on outside of the Uffizi, Florence. So, napakagandang experience namin dito sa
Paborito
Pisa,
to.
no? Although hindi kami
Paborito.
nakaakyat doon sa pinaka-tower niya kasi
Wala lagi.
napakadaming napakahaba ng pila. So, nag-decide na kami na hindi umakyat kasi may balak pa kaming puntahan yung tinatawag na Vispa na yung mga motorcycle na mga vintage nandun daw. Museum siya, mga kamis. So, ayun. Aantayin namin yung kasama namin dito sa labas. So, pagkatapos namin sa Vispa is pupuntahan namin yung parang vampire city, no, or tinatawag nila na doon daw nanirahan yung mga vampire dati. At doon din yung pinag-shootingan ng Twilight, no. Doon din nag-shooting isa sa mga best scene sa Twilight. So, medyo excited din ako na mapuntahan yung area na yun. So, abangan nyo guys. Tingnan natin kung ano yung mga makikita natin sa vlog ngayon.
Pwede na po din mo ibili ng mong bike diaryo.
So, alright. Nandito na tayo sa pinaka-entrance ng museum, no? Ito pala yung tinatawag na Piaggio Museum. So, kung saan nandito yung mga vintage na Vespa na motorcycle. So, hinanap pala namin yung mga receptionist. Pero wala kaming nakita na receptionist. So, pumasok na lang kami sa loob. Dito pa lang sa may labasan, bumungad agad na sa amin itong plane. Isang private, parang private plane siya. Vintage na plane. So, medyo na-miss din kami. Kaya, pa-picture muna. Alright, so nandito na tayo sa pinaka-entrance ng Piaggio Museum, no?
Hello, good morning. Buongiorno.
Fare la foto sull'aereo. Allora guarda, dovresti guardarmi la tempo e magari glielo spiego a loro, eh? Allora senti, da questa senta, scusi. No, grazie, scusa. Allora da questa parte noi abbiamo un supporto con delle vespe che potete visitare. Qui abbiamo autobusi, Gilera e Aquila. Potete fare delle foto all'interno del museo.
So, hindi natin maintindihan yung mga sinasabi nila, no? Kasi hindi man tayo nakakaintindi ng Italian. Mabuti may kasama kami na Italian, marunong mag-Italian. So sa mga balak palang pumunta dito sa museum is kailangan yung mag-book online. So 5 kami na pumunta at 5 din yung binook namin. Although wala naman siyang bayad, free naman yung pagpunta mo dito. So kailangan mo pa rin mag-book online. Or depende na rin sa yan kung gusto nyong magbigay, mag-donate, willing din naman sila na tumanggap. So alright, nandito na tayo sa loob, pasok na tayo sa loob.
Barko.
So dito pa lang sa may bandang pinaka-entrance niya is makikita mo yung mga ginagawa nila or mga paano nila ginamit nung World War, no? So, ayan.
Pang military. Mga made in Italy na mga kuan ba?
Ginagamit din pala nila to sa panahon ng gera, mga kaamis. Yung mga Vespa na brand. Right, so ito na yung pinakaantay natin. Nandito na tayo talaga sa pinakaloob. The Piaggio Museum was inaugurated in March 2000 in the tooling department of the ancient factory, one of the oldest and most evocative units of the Volterra factory complex, where the company transferred its production in the early 20s. The museum was created to preserve and highlight the value and the historic legacy of the oldest Italian companies, and focuses on the reconstruction of Piaggio activities in the area, exhibiting the most representative and famous product and giving access to the rich documentation of the Piaggio historical achievement. The museum traces a long period of Italian history, a history made of economic transformations alongside industrial and social development. Entirely renovated in 2018, up to 20 years of activity and almost 700,000 visitors. The Piaggio Museum has a surface area of 5,000 meters squared, with more than 250 pieces exhibit. It has become today the largest and the most comprehensive Italian museum dedicated to the two wheels, including many unique examples that do not just tell of the history of the Piaggio Group and its brands, but also trace the history of a country's mobility and industrial and social development. Since the Piaggio story spans the entire history, the transport, ships, trains, aeroplanes, cars, scooters, and motorcycles had been born out of the parent company and its brands. As such, the museum is the only one in Italy able to trace the history of such highly technological and innovative industry, the evolution of which has marked the history of Italian and European. The museum halls contain fundamental testaments to Piaggio pre-war aeronautical and rail production, the rich and admired Vespa collection, the Piaggio 3 and 4 wheels collection, ape, porter, mopeds, and the numerous pieces belonging to the motorcycle and sport history of the group bands, Aprilia, Galileo, and Moto Guzzi, which altogether boast the brilliant result of 104 world titles in various competitions. From Supermoto to MotoGP, from trial to Isbiki, alongside the exhibition space dedicated to the permanent collections, the Piaggio Museum also dedicates 340 meters squared to temporary exhibitions, allowing the museum to continuously vary its culture offers, spanning field from art to technology, and from scientific disclosure to fashions. Over the years, these spaces have hosted exhibition, events, and works by extraordinary artists such as Dali, Picasso, and among the Italians, Buri, Nomellini, Viani, Pilisa di Volpedo, Paturi, Modigliani, Cara, Signorini, Soffici, Specifo, Nispolo, and other major players in the world of the modern and contemporary art. In 2003, the Piaggio Museum and the Historic Archive were awarded Best Museum and the Best Business Achieved in Italy during the 2003 Business and Culture Prize giving. The rooms of the museum house has a number of precious examples of pre-war railway and aeronautical creations, along with the rich and much admired Vespa collection. The museum main attraction bringing enthusiasts from around the world. However, the Vespa collection unique in its kind. It is only in Volterra, in fact, that one can find the precious prototypes produced in the 40s. The MP5, nicknamed Papirino, Piaggio's first exercise in scooters, produced in a few unreachable units between 1943 and 1944, and the MP6, the famous prototype of the Vespa designed by Corradino da Cagno in the autumn of 1945. Amongst the standard production models, one can admire the classics of the vast Vespa collection, over 140 versions, highlighted by the first 98cc series launched in April 1946. The 1951 Vespa 125cc, the model used by Audrey Hepburn and Gregory Peck on the seat of Roman Holiday. The 1953 Vespa U, as in utilitarian or economic vehicle built in only 7,000 units, currently amongst the most sought after by collectors around the world. The first Gran Turismo, the 1955 Vespa GS 150cc, and 1963 Vespa 50cc, known to all the Italian as the Vespino, which has a milestone in the history of the most famous scooter in the world, which was followed in 1969 by the huge success of the 50cc Special. The 1965 90cc Super Sprint, mythical ride for sporty youngsters, and 1967 125cc Primavera, a true cult amongst youngsters of the time. The 70s are beautifully represented by the Vespa 125cc Primavera 83
MotoGP.
and by the Vespa 200cc Rally,
What the difference?
which in those years introduced an innovative technological solution like the electronic ignition, and by the Vespa 1977 PX125, replicated in a giant version,
Till 1000cc.
an out-of-scale model, 4 meters in height, in fiberglass and red varnish. Alright, hello mga kaamis. So, nandito na tayo sa wakas sa Volterra, no? So, medyo malayo yung binyahe namin. 1 oras mahigit, and then medyo mataas pa yung lugar kasi nasa tuktok ng bundok. So, medyo maganda naman yung daanan pero medyo maliko-liko lang. Hindi ka makapagpatakbo ng mabilis mga kamis. So, ayun. May mga part din na maganda or straight yung daanan, pero pag malapit ka na dito sa Volterra is medyo mahirap na yung daanan. Maraming liko-liko. So, Volterra pala in Mears novel is the place where the Volturi, an ancient family of vampires, reside. But in the reality, this town in the province of Pisa has been chosen as a location of new moon, most for the random similarity between the two names rather than the unlikely presence of supernatural beings. So sa mga nagtanong is kung yung Volterra ba has a vampire festival, St. Marcos Day is a religious celebration held on March 19 in the city of Volterra. The St. Marcos was said to run all of the vampires out of Volterra, Italy. It is celebrated by the people wearing red cloaks, signifying the blood-stained clothes those killed by the vampires. The Twilight, you know the Twilight movie? It was filmed in Volterra. In the second book of Stephanie Meyer's Twilight series, Volterra is the setting for some of the film's most dramatic and important scenes. While Volterra, Italy is a real town in Tuscany, Italy. The Volterra scene for the movie Twilight New Moon were filmed in the Montepulciano, Italy. The Twilight, you know the Twilight movie? It was filmed in Volterra. In the second book of Stephanie Meyer's Twilight series, Volterra is the setting for some of the film's most dramatic and important scenes. While Volterra, Italy is a real town in Tuscany, Italy. The Volterra scene for the movie Twilight New Moon were filmed in the Montepulciano, Italy. In the Roman period, Volterra was an important municipicium. It was the birthplace of the second Christian Pope, San Lino, and the poet Percio Laco. In the 5th century, Volterra became the seat of the bishopric. During the Lombard invasion, it becomes a Gestapo or a territorial ward ruled by the crown. The Twilight, you know the Twilight movie? It was filmed in Volterra. In the second book of Stephanie Meyer's Twilight series, Volterra is the setting for some of the film's most dramatic and important scenes. While Volterra, Italy is a real town in Tuscany, Italy. The Volterra scene for the movie Twilight New Moon were filmed in the Montepulciano, Italy. This one is the San Francesco Church, an ancient church in Volterra in the province of Pisa. The plain stone church was built in the 13th century for a community of Franciscan friars. The interior has marble monuments to members of the aristocratic family of Counts Guidi, who were patrons of the order. The monument to Bishop Guidi, 1588, was designed by Phyllis Palma. Among the paintings in the altars flanking The nave is a concession in 1585 by Giovanni Battista Naldini, and natively 1591 by Giovanni Balduzzi. So ito pala yung tinatawag na Roman Theater at talaga namang napaka-overlooking. Kaya siguro dito sa Volterra na pinili ng vampire na manirahan kasi talaga namang nasa bundok at kitang-kita yung new moon. So ngayon pauwi na kami ng Livorno at ito yung mga nadaanan namin. Medyo gutom na rin. Time check is 6 PM. At syempre napadaan din kami dito sa donut, kaya medyo pa-picture muna kasi medyo namangha din kami dito